Okay, we all ready to go? Well, it's fantastic to be here today with the RSPCA and DV Connect to announce that the Palaszczuk government is giving the Pets in Crisis program $200,000 in additional funding. This is a fantastic partnership between DV Connect and the RSPCA, which keeps family pets safe while women and children try and find a new home to begin their new life after experiencing violence. We now know so much more about coercive control and the kinds of tactics that perpetrators use to instill fear in their victims. And that often includes threats to harm the family pet or harming the family pet. We know that 25% of women who experience domestic violence that have a pet will often not leave the violent relationship because they are concerned about the welfare of their family pet. This program means that a woman who wants to leave a violent relationship can call DV Connect, can get to safety and know that until they find accommodation which is suitable for their family pet, the pet will be well looked after by the wonderful team at the RSPCA. Get any veterinary services that the pet needs, and most importantly, just have that peace of mind that the family pet will be safe. This is such a game changer for women who are experiencing violence. It's such a wonderful collaboration, and I'm thrilled that the Palaszczuk government is making this extra funding available. It will mean that an extra 240 pets can be cared for each year. They already care for about 300 pets a year. We know we're seeing many more women coming forward who are wanting to leave a violent relationship. We have to do everything we can to make sure they feel safe leaving that relationship, and that peace of mind, knowing the family pet is safe, is wonderful news. Nanda, do you want to say something about the program?
This program is an amazing initiative that we've carried out for many, many years now, and we're so pleased that we can continue it. As you can see, we get dogs of all sizes, puppies, cats, kittens. It could even be a goat or a bunch of chickens that we take into care. So it doesn't matter what animal it is, but if we can take it in and we can make sure the family can find safety in their shelters and then be reunited with their pet, is obviously the greatest reward for us. And we're so proud and so thankful for the contribution to be able to continue this service.
I came here for the puppy. No, I'm only kidding. Yeah. Look, first off, I would just like to really acknowledge the work of my colleagues at the RSPCA. Our partnership with them means that we actually get to give incredible options to women who otherwise would not be able to feel comfortable to leave their pet behind in an unsafe home. Animals are a really important part of a family. They, oh, shall I put, oh, there you go.
It's a tough job.
It is. Look, animals are a really important part of a family. They provide unconditional love, they provide companionship, they provide security, and they provide a real sense of connection. This is absolutely intensified for women and particularly children. The bond is intensified. So the thought of actually having to separate is just unthinkable, and something that they just won't make the choice to do. Sadistically, people who use violence take advantage of that care and that love and that connection to animals, that they will often use them with threats of harm or actual harm. Pets themselves are actually victims of domestic and family violence more commonly than you would actually want to know about. So the reality is that while the recent shelters and refuges that have been brought into Queensland do accommodate animals, that most emergency accommodation options throughout the state don't. So being able to provide options through the RSPCA program, that means that impossible choice of whether do I stay in an unsafe home or do I leave, we're not putting women in that position. So I'm absolutely thrilled that there is going to be an expansion to this program, because we support thousands of people who are experiencing domestic and family violence every year, and to know that we're going to provide them greater options for safety is just incredible. So thank you, Shannon. Yes.
The program generally offers 28 days of emergency accommodation, but obviously no case is the same. So we're generally pretty flexible with offering extensions if required, but also for us it's most important that the animal and the owner are reunited. So if they are able to find accommodation earlier, then we will facilitate them picking up earlier. And that might be that they move from Brisbane to Gladstone. So there's a fair few costs for us, which is like the travelling. Sometimes animals in need of veterinary attention that probably wasn't sort of front of mind when people were in these situations, then we can actually offer that support and deal with that and improve the animal's welfare, and then they can hopefully return home, which is the best outcome. Pretty. Yeah. Generally, people contact DV Connect. There's straight away a phone call into us, and Lorraine is one of our team members who facilitates that sort of side of the process. It can be that day that they come in. It can be next week if it doesn't quite work out, but it can be really quickly. Yeah.
May otherwise be surrendered to you potentially. This would stop some of those animals then being released.
Yeah, the program would prevent animals from being surrendered because it gives people an opportunity to find accommodation, and we all know how hard that is in general these days. But for somebody who's leaving that sort of home situation that's no longer safe and has to relocate with children and all those things that come with that, then having a pet-friendly rental is generally hard to find. So we offer that time to make that happen. And we can write references for the pets to say, you know, these are really well behaved. So that might help as well in finding accommodation.
Are you busy at the moment because of the rental?
Yes. Yeah, we are. Yeah.
How busy are you?
When are we not full? We are very full. We're finding that people are struggling to find accommodation where they will take pets, even though there is some great initiatives out there. I think that's something that we need to keep driving home. Good training, good healthcare for your pet and making them a well-behaved member of the family, that helps with finding accommodation, and we can sort of have got all sorts of tips to help you do that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah, look, I understand the community's views about the sentence. What I would say is that it was an absolute tragedy to see Matt, Kate and their unborn child killed in horrific circumstances last year, and it has been devastating for their family, their friends, but the entire Queensland community. So I want to assure the family, the community, that I'm taking urgent advice from the Director of Public Prosecutions about whether or not there are grounds for an appeal. I would also say that since this case last year, we of course strengthened our Youth Justice Act to make sure that when young people commit a serious offence, there is a presumption against bail. Those laws are working. Many more young people who have committed serious offences are not getting bail. We want to make sure that we keep the community safe. That's why we acted last year to strengthen those laws.
How long do you expect it will take to receive?
I expect I'll get that in the next week. Yeah. Yes. Look, I don't think it's appropriate as the AG, who's then responsible for making the decision around an appeal, to sign it. But what I would say is I completely understand the community's attitudes and feelings towards this case. It's horrific. It's devastating to see that young couple and their unborn child killed in that horrific way. I will take that advice, and if there are grounds for appeal, I will make that appeal. Well, I don't want to make an announcement because I don't want to get anyone's hopes up. It would be irresponsible for me to make a decision to appeal a sentence without getting advice about whether or not there are grounds for appeal or what those grounds might look like. That is the process that we follow every time. I note the family yesterday acknowledged that there was a process that needed to be followed. I will follow that process. I will take the advice, and if there are grounds for appeal, we will make that appeal. Thank you. Yeah, let's pat some dogs.
So we've got Bluey and Bingo. That's Bluey, and this is